call this meeting of the Westland City Council to order. We'll begin with the Pledge of Allegiance led by Councilman Michael McDermott.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. Clerk, roll call.
Councilman Gavno. Present. Councilman Hersberg. Here. Pro Tem Hondo. Present. Councilman McDermott. Here. Councilwoman Rakowski.
Present.
Councilwoman Sampe.
Here.
President Hart.
Here.
A quorum is present.
Thank you. Special presentations and announcements. First, I will begin by announcing that consent calendar item E and new business item 1 are flipped. Please flip those as you look at those. This was actually my mistake. The clerk department did exactly what I asked them to instead of what I wanted them to do. So I did email them when we were building this, and it was my mistake. I did catch it at the review. I'm catching it right now, so that's how the agenda will go. So thank you. Do make a note of that. Next, I will bring up Hassan Saab, Neighborhood Services Director, to talk to us about the holiday decorating.
Thank you, Council President. Good evening, City Council, Mayor, city residents, and Happy New Year to you all. Each holiday season, the Department of Neighborhood Services runs an online holiday decorating contest in all-American City. This year, as usual, residents submitted their nomination for their preferred house display and voted online for their preferred house. I'm pleased to announce the winners of this contest this year, but before I do that, there are some houses that are equally beautifully decorated, and I'd like to mention them as honorable mentions. I'll start with Ron and Debbie Alessandrini from Berwick Drive. If they're here, I'd like to give them their certificates. If not, I will make sure to deliver to them tomorrow morning. Next one is Melinda Smith from Highville Street. Okay, we'll do the same thing tomorrow morning. I'm sorry for the short notice. I believe it's just right after the holidays, so people may be busy today. The third one is Joseph and Sharon Foy from Merritt Street. One more time. The fourth one is Barbara Fiedler from Anita Drive. And the fifth and final honorable mention is George Thomas from Chestnut Drive. George, I'd like to give you your certificate.
Hey, he's here.
Thank you. Now into the good stuff. There are 3 categories, and I have winner for each one of the categories. First one is the best traditional display, and the winners are Sarah and Jason Wright from Siebold Street. That looks very nice. Next is the most creative display, and that goes to Matt Sutella. Matt, I'd like to give you a And the final goes to Randy and Kim Kraus from Berwick Drive for over-the-top display. Thank you, Council President, and for those that received their certificates, if you'd like to take pictures, we can meet out in the lobby and take pictures. Thank you again.
Thank you. So for those that are here that'd like to take their pictures, just go right out to the lobby. We'll go out there and make you Facebook famous.
infamous.
But you're infamous, right? That's more. All right, next we have Ryan Eberhardt from the Westland Historic Commission. And you have some entrance music.
Thank you for allowing me to speak tonight. I just wanted to introduce everybody to the face of the Historical Commission. Yeah, this ugly mug. Couple of announcements. We will begin our 2023 season this Saturday from 1 to 4. We're open every Saturday from 1 to 4, except for major holidays. We can give you tours of the buildings, help you with research. We do have volunteer opportunities. The volunteer opportunities are through our new historical society. So if you are interested in joining the society, we have information on our website or Facebook. On January 26th at 6 p.m. is our first event for the year. It's called Eloise and Other Things, a lecture by Jeff Kozlowski, former commissioner. It'll be here in the G. McKinney Ballroom. Tickets are available on Eventbrite. We are asking for a donation, but you don't have to donate. Up to 100 people can attend. If you have any questions, please message me on Facebook or the village. And our website is WHVP66 at .weebly.com, and we are also on Facebook, Twitter, all of those. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, now we'll move to questions or input on the agenda. This section will allow a person to be recognized only at the beginning of the meeting to address the council pertaining to items that are specifically on the business agenda. Questions asked may be responded to during the agenda item following a motion and support from the council. Is there anyone on my right? Sir.
Richard Graham from Westland and with Move Westland Forward. Happy New Year, everyone. Great to be back in 23. Mayor Wall, great to see you. I don't think you've been here since October, so glad you're here. Good evening, council. Regarding new business item 2 and the Westland Police Department retention. I think there was a recent study session, and in the information packet, I guess one of the things that was missing was the police salary comparison information. That would have been great if that was in there, so residents could see where Westland police officers rank as of at least right now, which is virtually at the bottom. Surprised, I was frankly shocked to see how low the police department ranked. Only Garden City was lower based on pay. And they might be next to last also on starting pay. So, you know, especially with Team Wild controlling council and the mayor's position for so many years, you would have thought that pay would have been dramatically higher. But, you know, especially Councilman Landau, that year after year, you refuse to support and put up a big fuss by adding just one more police officer when the budget study sessions were going on. Why have you been so anti-adding police? Council President Hart, I thought there was going to be multi-study sessions regarding, you know, pay in general. I guess why haven't they been scheduled for years now? The police union, why do you continue to support Team Wild members after they have limited your workforce year after year after year? Mayor Wild, you supported all the time and did cuts of the police force for many years, and now they rank, as of today, next to last out of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 communities, which is most of Southeast Michigan. They rank towards next to last in pay and starting pay. Thank you.
All right, is there anyone on my left? Anyone else on my right? All right, we'll close input on the agenda and move to the consent calendar. Is there a motion? Motion by Councilwoman Sampe, supported by Councilman Hersberg. Are there any changes to the consent calendar? Any changes to the consent calendar? Any dissent? Any dissent? Seeing no dissent, motion carries unanimously.
Council has approved the following consent calendar items: minutes of the regular meeting and the study session held December 19, 2022, minutes of the study session held December 14, 2022, approval of bid for professional services related to the Home Buyer Assistance Program. Administration recommended a 3-year contract to National Faith Home Buyers for a fee of $1,000 per approved home buyer, and that the Director of Housing and Community Development sign the agreement on behalf of the city. Approval of emergency medical supplies vendor for the fire department for various emergency medical needs. Administration recommended utilizing J&B Medical as an emergency medical supplies vendor on an as-needed basis. Approval of Voss Park purchase agreement with Wayne County. And the last item approved on the consent calendar, adoption of ordinance 260, an ordinance to amend the Westland City Code of Ordinances, Chapter 26, by adding Article 14 entitled Food Trucks. This item had been introduced December 19, 2022. Moving to approval of vouchers.
The motion by Councilman McDermott, supported by Councilwoman Sampe. Are there any discussion? Is there any discussion? Any dissent? Any dissent? Seeing no dissent, motion carries unanimously.
New business. Item 1, approval of purchase of a Type 3 ambulance for the fire department in the amount of $301,642.
Support.
All right, I have a motion by Councilwoman Rakowski, supported by Councilwoman Sampe. Chief?
Through the chair, thank you for the opportunity to let me to explain the rare occasion that we got to possibly purchase this vehicle. This was a sister vehicle from the one that we actually just purchased. Another municipality decided that they were no longer able to fund this vehicle. So we were in the process of ordering a new vehicle for the 2024, fall of 2024. But because this one came up available due to the other municipality not being able to secure funding for it, now we had the opportunity to purchase this vehicle at a cost savings with the, if you looked inside the notes, it is about $40,000 cheaper than what we would anticipate it being in 2024.
Is there any discussion from the maker? Any discussion from the supporter? Any discussion from the council? Any discussion? Any dissent? Oh, I'm sorry, Councilman Godbout, I apologize.
Thanks. Through the chair to probably Finance Department, although Steve's not here. I'm sure Devin might be able to handle this. Where are we allocating the funds from? It didn't mention in the memo.
Through the chair, the purchase will be paid for from capital outlay budget and will require a third quarter budget amendment.
Okay. So we're not using COVID funds for this.
As presented, it's through capital outlay.
Okay, thank you.
Apologize again. Any other discussion? Any discussion? Any dissent? Any dissent? Seeing no dissent, motion carries unanimously.
New business. Item 2, approval of Westland Police Department retention and hiring letter of understanding to amend the current WPOA contract.
So moved. Support.
I had a motion from Pro Tem Londo, supported by Councilwoman Sampe. Chief?
So yes, I mean, we're at a crisis mode with staffing levels at the police department. We're at an all-time low. We have officers that have left for other agencies. We have officers preparing to leave for other agencies. The officers union and the chief got together, come up with a plan, and they came up with basically a 3-point plan. It reduces the steps to get the top pay, increases starting pay to be competitive, and also a 4-year lateral to recruit veteran officers or experienced officers to come over to the department. And it's also funded by our current budget. There's no amendments that are going to be required.
Okay. Any discussion from the maker? Any from the supporter? Councilwoman Sampe?
Yes, thank you. I just want to thank everyone for your patience, all the officers. We had a great study session. Chief met with us as well, too, separately. So we were able to ask our questions before coming into tonight in addition to the study session. So thank you again just for everyone being here, all our public safety. I value you guys so much and really appreciate you. So thank you.
Councilwoman Rakowski?
I want to echo Councilwoman Sampe's sentiments. It was a good study session. I believed I mentioned at that point in time that I felt it was long overdue, and I still think that we're long overdue for having a visioning session or a study session that addresses what the public safety needs really are, what our manpower needs are, and a plan needs to be put in place. But for this item today, I am in support of it, and I'm happy that we'll be able to put something into place quickly in order to retain those officers and hopefully make us a more valuable recruitment city as well. Thank you.
Okay. Any other discussion from the council? Any other discussion? Any dissent? Any dissent? Seeing no dissent, motion carries unanimously. We now move into public comment. Everyone speaking before the council should do so in a civil manner. Speakers shall refrain from abusive or profane remarks, vulgar language, disruptive outbursts, threats, racial slurs, or other conduct that interferes with the business meeting. Personal attacks on council members, the administration, city staff, other speakers, or members of the public will not be tolerated. The clock will start upon the first words of the speaker and will not stop while the speaker is recognized from the floor. It is the speaker's option to ask questions at this time, and the person questioned may choose to respond during the speaker's allotment of time. However, the clock will not be stopped once it is started. The clock will continue to run until the speaker is completed or their speaking time is exhausted, whichever comes first. Is there anyone on my right? Sir.
First of all, I spoke on the 19th about the property at 33605 Harvard. Got an outstanding response from you guys. Mr. Moe, and I believe her name is Nicole. Had the people out there, I believe it was 2 days later, had the officer out there. The problem is, they give a date. They give a date that they would be out there, the officer did. And immediately, that day or the following day, the people picked up the mess, placed it into a pickup truck, and then put the pickup truck on the corner of the road, on the corner of the cul-de-sac, for all of us to have that as a greeting as we come home. Every day. Today the officer was back out there, and I knew the officer was back out there and had gone when I got home from my day of work, because now the pickup truck was back into the front yard. As soon as the officer came and left, they put it back on the front yard. I have a letter that I was given out here at the desk today. I believe it's an email that says that they were there and they noticed significant change. They did. The stuff was picked up off the yard, was put in the back of the pickup truck, and now it's sitting there. It's not gone anywhere. It's just moved. The mess in the backyard, the pool with the water standing, that's still there. They shoved the camper that they're living in or have people living in. They moved that from the side of the house to the back of the house. That's all that was accomplished. They're still parking on that front yard. Now, not only are they parking on their front yard, but they're crossing my front yard to get to their yard. So I get to mow through that. We don't see the rats. I'm sure we don't see the rats because now they're in the house where it's warmer as compared to out in the yard. But the mess isn't gone, guys. I'm just trying to keep a light on it. I don't want it to be, again, I want to emphasize, I'm not trying to get these people out of their home. I just want it brought up so the value of my home won't continue to plummet, because that's exactly what it's doing. It's bringing the value of every house on that area that is the worst house in the entire corner cul-de-sac right there. That's the worst mess there. And it's not only the homeowner, but it's his guests that are making the mess. It's majority of his guests that are making the mess. And, You know, it was nice that the officer come out, but he didn't do anything. Said he noticed significant change, and that was it. 5 to 7 cars a day. The officer says today when he was there, there was 1 car in the driveway.
All right, sir, your time is up. I appreciate it. We'll follow up with you. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, anybody on my right? Oh, sir.
Richard Graham from Move Westland Forward again. A few items tonight. Regarding Taylor Towers, it's shameful what's happening over there with the worn out and broken elevators. Seniors are living in terror and fear based on what is going on there. Frankly, not surprised based on the friends and family that work there or that are on the board. The who's who of last names of Reddy, Neal, and DeHart. Regarding Mayor Weil quitting as mayor with 3 years left and the next council meeting where a new mayor will be appointed until a special election in November. Councilman Godbout, you have by far the most experience. You have earned a chance to be mayor based on the experience, especially for that short time period. You would think that you're probably the more natural choice for that position. Councilman Hersberg, you're a long-serving council person, a degree, family man, but you're not Team Wild. So you probably have almost 0 chance of being the next mayor. Council President Hart, you're a family man, a master's degree, I believe, council president, and served in our military. But I hear you're getting passed up for the next mayor from an appointment standpoint. And what's really a shame is Deputy Mayor Reddy seems to be getting to decide who's the next mayor, with so many other candidates other than Councilman Landau. It is shocking to hear the rumors coming out of City Hall that Councilman Landau is the odds-on choice to replace Mayor Weil. Based on his baggage, his history, and all those things that go along with him, it is surprising that people like Council President Hart, Councilman Godbout, and even Councilman Hersberg, you're not Team Wild, don't have a chance. And 4 people, it'll be shocking to see which 4 people will actually vote to appoint, possibly appoint, Councilman Landau. One last item. If that does happen, there'll be an open council position, and I think that gets filled in about a month. Those people in the audience watching should be very concerned about if a person is selected that was on the executive board of the Westland Library when I believe 5 librarians were fired. And the rumor is they were fired because they were trying to form a union. Well documented, well publicized. There was even protests at City Hall. That's all. Have a good evening. Thank you.
Anyone else on my left? Anyone in the audience? All right, we'll close council comments and move to comments from the administration. Mr. Mayor.
All right, well, good evening, everyone. First of all, sir, if you'll leave us your number before you leave, we'll follow up with you tomorrow. We'll take another swing at that, okay?
Yes, sir.
Just my deputy's right here. If you give us your number, we'll do that first thing for you. Council, first of all, thank you for your flexibility that you showed tonight, and first of all, with giving us the opportunity to purchase that ambulance, the EMS vehicle. So we appreciate that. We typically buy one of those in every year. By moving it forward, council won't be in a position to have to replace it in the next budget, so we appreciate that flexibility. We also appreciate the flexibility that you've shown tonight with approving this LOU with the Westland Police Officers Association. So we typically do these things through collective bargaining, and you guys know that we've recently negotiated a contract with them, but the market for patrolmen and police officers, it's very fluid right now, and I think that was laid out during the study session that it's extremely hard to hire because there's not that many candidates, and it's getting extremely hard to maintain what you have, and by what you did tonight allows us to stay competitive, so we appreciate that. Then council, as was brought up, this will be my last council meeting tonight. I was sitting here thinking that I started attending council meetings as a planning commissioner back in 1998, 1999. So I really enjoyed my time with the city of Westland, and I'm not going to say much tonight. I'm going to invite everybody to my final State of the City address. It's going to be on January 12th. There's been a lot of last lately. Tonight's my last council meeting. Tomorrow's my last staff meeting. So we haven't been saying last. We've been saying our best. So tonight will be our best council meeting. So it's a pleasure to be here tonight. Once again, council, the final State of the City is going to be January 12th. We chose the Soho Grand Banquet Facility, and if you remember, over the years, we've highlighted several businesses in town with the State of the City, and they've just finished building the place. It's been an incredible project come to fruition, so we're going to use this event to kind of showcase the Soho Grand to the community of Westland, so we're looking forward to that. The event starts at 7. The doors are actually going to open at 5:30. There'll be light refreshments, and the Soho Grand is going to have out a little bit of display of the food that they have. Just an absolute amazing kitchen that they put in the place. So they're going to have a little sampling of their food set out. The doors open at 5:30. There'll be a reception at 6, and the event will start at 7. My final act as the mayor of Westland will be to participate in the annual Martin Luther King Day ceremony, which will be on January 16th. That'll be right here at City Hall. We'll kick it off with the Remembrance Walk. Weather permitting, it begins at 9 a.m., and the annual ceremony begins at 10 inside City Hall. So once again, everybody's invited. So that'll be on the 16th. Council President, it'd be my intent that I'll make a visit to the clerk's office next week with my resignation letter, so I think it would be appropriate as you put the next agenda together to go ahead and put that appointment process on there. So with that said, on behalf to all the city council members and the clerk, there's a small token of my appreciation for your commitment and your service to the residents of the city of Westland. It's been a pleasure working with all of you, so please accept that on my behalf. And then to the residents, I look forward to talking with all of you more at the State of the City on January 12th. Thank you.
The attorney's office is invited to top that.
I won't even try, Council President.
Okay, we'll go ahead and begin council comments this evening with Councilman Hersberg.
Thank you, Council President. Just a brief announcement tonight. Wayne County Commissioner Glenn Anderson and State Representative Kevin Coleman have found a new location for their coffee hour. Neither were able to make it here tonight. The new location is at Inspire Theater, and that's our old cable department. It's on Warren Road at Bison. The address is 33455 Warren Road. And their first coffee hour that'll resume this year there will be Monday, January 9th at 9 a.m. So all are invited. So that's it for me tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we'll have Councilman McDermott.
Good evening. Few things tonight. Want to thank our police officers and our firefighters for joining us here. I think what we did with the LOU is critically important to being able to retain our good officers and keep them here in the city of Westland. And I think purchasing that ambulance is also going to be a huge plus for us to be able to get it ahead of schedule. But to my colleague's point, she brought it up earlier today, and it's something that she's brought up, Councilman Hersberg's brought up, Councilman Godbout's brought up, and I think pretty much everyone up here, it's time to have that staffing study session and talk about a long-term plan for what we're going to do to, get more people, men and women, in the city for police and fire, and get those who are working on a grant, on the SAFER grant, on permanent full-time staffing to make it, to make us more competitive with other cities, but also to give people job security so they know they're not hopping grant to grant year after year. So this was step one of many that we need to take, and I think we're all excited to move forward here in the new year and have that staffing study session and finally get going on that. So I'm excited to be able to do that and work with all of you and work with my colleagues on council to get that done. Also excited to have another ARPA study session to look at the projects that we've already allocated some of your tax dollars on and the little bit of ARPA money that we do have left here to potentially look at how we're going to best allocate that. A lot of exciting things that we're moving forward with, the Central City Pond remediation, public Wi-Fi potentially at one or more of our parks, and also the building of or reconstructing of 2 fire stations. So a lot of stuff that we have to move forward on this year related to ARPA, and I'm excited to be able to do that. Congratulations to all the folks who showed up tonight and those who didn't but had a great holiday decoration. Congratulations on winning or being a runner-up. It was certainly exciting to see some of the great decorations that we had here. I know a couple of them on like Hively Street are in my neck of the woods, so it's nice to see people from all over the city, but my neighborhood win as well. Just a few other things regarding the Taylor Towers situation. I think that we all up here care about what's going on there, and we know that they're working hard over there to get a resolution and get those elevators fixed and back up and running, and we know the staff is working with the residents there to make sure that their needs are being met and taken care of. And then just want to say all the best to Mayor Wild in his new endeavor as he steps down as mayor and takes on his next chapter in life, so all the best to him and his family. So thank you for your service as mayor. And with that, bid you all a good evening and treat each other with respect and kindness. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilwoman Sampe.
I don't like going after Councilman McDermott. It's like ditto, everything he said. So good evening, everyone. Welcome to 2023. I know, as highlighted, we have a very busy year planned for this year with a lot of different things that were put in place and just kind of transfer over to 2023 that we'll be able to do. So I want to just start out with a few congratulations. So the best traditional display, Sarah and Jason Wright. Most creative display, Matt Sutella, who, if my memory strikes me, he actually won last year too. And the Krauses. So over the top, Randy and Kim Kraus, and then the honorable mentions, Ron and Debbie. I don't know if I can say this. El Sadari, I think maybe. I said that wrong, but sorry. Apologize. Melinda Smith, Joseph, and Sharon Foy, Barbara Fielder, and George Thomas. My favorite thing with my family is to drive around and look at lights. So thank you for bringing joy. Thank you for participating. All the homes were beautiful. Displays were absolutely beautiful. Just a reminder, kind of speaking of the holiday season, you can place your Christmas tree out for pickup January 2nd through January 14th. So you can place it out on trash day. Again, we weren't affected by the New Year's holiday, so for the rest of the week, the pickup is going to be the normal day. But if you want to place it out there, it will be picked up. Again, this was brought up about Taylor Towers. I have been checking in pretty frequently. It sounds like everything is under control. There's nothing that we can do. It's not like we can show up and just say, hey, we're here to help. So just so you know, all of us have been checking in and asking if there's anything we can do to help, and it seems like it's under control. As mentioned, today we did approve the collective bargaining agreement between the Westland police officer and the city of Westland. This is absolutely long overdue. It's long overdue for police, for fire. I mean, we have talked on numerous occasions on how we need to staff up, make sure we're competitive. A staffing session absolutely has been talked about, so stay tuned for that. But I mean, I'm very, very, very happy that, you know, I was able to support this motion. You guys deserve it. Our fire deserves it. Our police deserves it. So thank you guys for your patience. Thank you everyone for being here, being supportive. Just know that you guys are being heard. And anytime you want to reach out to me, I'm always here to listen. So thank you very much, all of you, for working very hard for our city. And then community events. So we did talk already about the final state of the city. I will be there. I'm really looking forward to it. I looked at the photos of Soho Grand Banquet Event Center. It's beautiful. It's really great to have that in our city as well. And then it's talked about already about the Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Freedom Walk and Ceremony, which is always a beautiful event. I attended last year as well, and I know that we're going to have a lot of great additions this year. I wanted to thank Mayor Wild for your leadership. Thank you very much. I guess I can show what we got, right? So thank you, Mayor Wild, for the plaque. I've seen the city grow and change. Although we've only worked closely with each other for over a year, I think it goes without saying your calm demeanor, your strategic thinking, And just setting our city up for future success is just really appreciated. I want to thank you for being welcoming to me and patient and kind, and I appreciate your staff, everyone that's here, just their willingness to listen to my ideas as a newer council person. My ideas sometimes are unconventional and out of the box. So I've texted people numerous text messages late and early and such. So I really appreciate you being supportive of change and just kind of moving the city forward in that manner. I know that the new mayor has big shoes to fill, and your legacy as the longest serving mayor, say it again, the longest serving mayor, is such a worthy accomplishment. And my hope for you is success and happiness in your new role. And thank you again for supporting all of us. Our next meeting will be Tuesday, January 14th. We will be appointing a new mayor. Or 17th? I don't know why I put 14th. Sorry about that. 17th. Yeah, we're not coming here that day. At 7, we welcome residents to come out and join us. Until then, be safe and kind, and we'll see you all in a few weeks. Thank you.
Councilwoman Rakowski.
And then I just hate going after her. It's just a train of how many times can we say the same thing? I would like to start out by congratulating our holiday decorators. I won't take the time to list them by name, but I'm always so impressed with the displays they do. I'm not creative, and so I'm just, anytime somebody can put out a really cool, and especially those over-the-top displays, that's really neat. So we'll look forward to seeing what they can do in the spring. Maybe we can figure out something. I think last year we talked about like the gardens or something like that. Yeah. I'm very happy that we have the letter of understanding with the police department. It's going to make a big difference for our retention. In that study session, Chief Jadrusik and Deputy Chief Dolly really did lay out some numbers about how low our manpower potentially could be, and to say that it would be unsafe is really underplaying what would happen. So having, one step in the right direction is wonderful. I know I sound like a parrot, but I really do want to see the staffing, visioning, and strategy session come into play, not just for our police department, but our fire department, and really any of the services that we do have in the city. And that was a request that started back in 2020. So hopefully we'll get there now. And I'm sure we'll be following suit for our other public safety departments like fire and addressing what their needs are. Always happy to support our public safety with any kind of equipment and just job aids that they need. Fast tracking an ambulance, that's going to be good for our budget and is a necessary part of them being able to do their day-to-day tasks is paramount. And I think it was really great for us to find an opportunity, unfortunately at another community's demise, but to find a good opportunity to secure that ambulance. We do have that study session coming up on January 23rd. We're going to be talking about our fiscal audit for 2022. We're also going to look at our second quarter budget amendments, but we're going to also be discussing the remaining ARPA allocations. And I think what would be important during that session is to have an overview of what we have already done, what we've already committed to, so that the citizens and the residents know, because well, some people say it's not tax dollars. Well, at the end of the day, it's a tax dollar. It's coming from somewhere. I have not found that money tree. When I find it, we will make an orchard and we will all harvest. But until that day happens, somebody is always on the hook for that. And so we have to be responsible. We've made a lot of additions to lists of things that we want to accomplish, but I want to make sure that we actually are following through on some of these commitments. We've talked about fire stations. We've talked about park rejuvenations. We've talked about a myriad of things, but some of it's not so glamorous and we don't get to see it, right? So it's easy to see ambulances and fire engines and squad cars. It's not really easy to see the flood remediation equipment, right? It's not fancy. But we need to know, and I think you all need to know that as well. So I would encourage you to attend. It's January 23rd at 6 o'clock. And, I think we would all really be open to hearing your input, because we had one charrette, right, where we asked people to contribute. It was a Saturday afternoon, and we never really came back to the residents and asked them again, like, okay, we've done this, now what do you want? So this would be an opportunity to kind of give us a little bit more input as the time's running out to spend this money. And it has to be spent in meaningful ways, and it can't be used as Band-Aids, because that's not really going to fix anything. So lastly, you mentioned 1998. That's the year I graduated high school. I was like, holy cow. You have a wonderful legacy of leadership in this city. It goes without saying, and you are the longest mayor, and that's very commendable. I appreciate you working with me and your mentorship on some of these things that a new council person needs to know. I always tend to believe that a measure of a person's leadership is by the legacy that they'll leave. And I think that Westland is a better place today than it was tomorrow. And so if every tomorrow is better, then you will have left a wonderful legacy. So I appreciate your commitment to our community and your family's sacrifice of their time away from you. I hope that you find some time to relax and enjoy and spend time with family, and I wish you all the best. Thank you, Mayor.
Councilman Gadbout.
Thanks. First, I'd just like to wish the mayor well in his new career. You've done a great job as mayor of our city. Been fortunate to been here the entire time of your tenure as mayor, and when you were on the planning commission prior to that, and on the council before as well. So, it's a great legacy. You've done a good job for the city, and your knowledge and experience are going to be missed in that role. So I wish you all the best, and I'm sure we'll still keep in touch. So with that, I hope everyone had a safe and enjoyable holiday season, and I wish everyone a joyous, prosperous, and happy New Year. That's all I have. Thanks.
Pro Tem Londo.
Thank you, President Hart. Good evening, everyone. Good to see everybody in the audience. Good to see our police and fire out here and some of the residents in the audience. I'll just echo all my comments from my colleagues. They all touched on a lot of things that I want to talk about, but just echo their comments tonight and wish everybody a Happy New Year. And I know I'm proud to say I've worked alongside Mayor Bill Wild for about the past decade. I've observed your leadership and impactful decision-making style firsthand. I've seen firsthand how your legacy will continue to live on in our city through your footprint. As was mentioned, you got a calm demeanor and a really good ability to make tough calls in times of crisis, which are unparalleled. The mayor's love for Westland is unwavering, and his relationships with other elected officials are vast and influential. He's a well-respected colleague both locally and regionally. He's served in numerous governmental leadership roles outside of Westland. To many of us, he's a mentor, a friend, and a fearless leader of many years. Mayor, I deeply appreciate your friendship and your mentorship, and I hope this next journey allows you to still be involved in our city in some capacity. I know you're not going anywhere. Thank you again for your dedicated hard work and dedication to our city of Westland, and I wish you all the best in the next chapter of your life.
That's it. Thank you. I'll begin by thanking Councilman Mike McDermott for leading us in the Pledge of Allegiance this evening. Many thanks, and also welcome to all the representatives of the local law enforcement and first responder community who have chosen to join us here at the City Hall at this time. And if you guys have ever watched Blues Brothers, you would appreciate that comment. I would like to just touch on Mayor Wild. In the military, we often talk about legacy of leadership, and Councilman Murkowski touched on that. The legacy of leadership is what the individual can do, two things: how they can build the people who will follow them. A change of command is inevitable. Change of command is part of who we are, and it will always happen. So what that person can do to train and develop and mentor the people that come behind them is one way they're measured, and the second way they're measured is what they did for the office that they were sitting in. How do they raise the bar for that office? Not for themselves, but for the office. If you can successfully come out and know that you've raised the bar for that office and the standard is higher, then that is called a legacy of leadership. Mayor Wild, I think you embody that legacy of leadership, where whoever is the next mayor will also have a much high standard that they're going to live to because of your involvement and also because of your mentorship to allow them to be able to do that job and look back and consult with you, not only immediately, but for the years to come. That is a legacy of leadership. It is also important that whoever that person is learn some of the other basic military principles, and I'll just share those. Lead from the front. Never ask anybody to do something you're not willing or capable to do yourself. Pass praise and shoulder blame. When things go right, your people did them. If they go wrong, it is your responsibility. Whoever the new mayor is, continue to live by that example, and you'll always have an ability to live and exude that legacy. Mayor Wild, you are a credit to yourself, you are a credit to your family, and you are a credit to the city of Westland. Good luck in your endeavors. Godspeed. Is there a motion to adjourn?